Okay, everybody, here comes lesson 11. Now, the idea in music of resting. Resting. In other words, you're not really doing, uh, you're not playing. You're not making sound when you're resting in music. So, but you're still counting because you're talking about rest, but you're also talking about value. And in music, note values it pertains to how much time does it receive? How much time, right? How much time does a note receive? That's its value in music. So you can be resting, not necessarily making a sound, but you still have to know how much time is needed to not make a sound on an instrument or with your voice. So lots of times you're singing along and then you stop. Well, you have to know when to start again. And when you stop singing or playing, you're resting. So you have to know when to start again. So that's why you have to keep on counting. Once you get the notes down when you're doing things, counting becomes very important. It never stops being important. So you know your place in the music so you can play with the band or sing with the chorus, whatever it is you're trying to do. All right? So for each note value in music, there is an equal rest value. The time signature determines the value of each note or rest. All right, so we're going to stick with 4/4 in this lesson right here in the beginning because it's something that you've studied already. Remember, 4/4 means there are four quarter notes in each measure. Four quarter notes. Excuse me. When the lower number of the time signature is 4, here's your lower number, the quarter rest receives 1 beat. The half rest receives 2 beats, and the whole rest receives 4 beats. Okay? So, just like over here, we had a whole note which equaled 4 beats, a half note which equaled 2 beats, and a quarter note which equaled 1 beat. Well, they all have a corresponding rest. So, a whole rest looks like this. I say it looks like a hole in the ground if I was walking along. A half rest looks like a little hat you would wear. Little top hat, right? And a quarter rest looks like a little squiggle. When I do that, I think the number 2, and I add a little C at the tail end of it. So that's the quarter rest. That's what it looks like. Okay, so a whole rest or a whole note equals 4 beats when the lower number is 4. A half rest or a half note equals 2 beats when the lower number is 4, and a quarter note or quarter rest equals 1 beat. So there it is. Same as the whole note, same as the half note, same as the quarter note. The rests receive the same amount of time in the music. So notice that the half rest, this guy here, is above the line, and the whole rest is below the line. Okay? Just a visual to help you to connect with what they are. Alrighty? So here it is in 4/4. It says rest, 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 rest. I like that, but I also like to know here's how I show rest when I'm teaching the kids in class. So I know that there's 4 beats, and I know that each of those rests that we're looking at is a quarter rest. They're all quarter rests. Look like a squiggle. And the word squiggle has the letter Q in it, right? So here it is. Look, it looks like a hole in the ground right over here. It looks like a hole in the ground, right? Hole in the ground is HOLE. Whole note is WHOLE. The hat looks like a hat. The half rest looks like a hat. Well, the word half starts with HA. So there it is. Hat, half. HA. So that's how you can make a connection there. And then the quarter note, it looks like a squiggle. I say the word squiggle because it gives me a letter Q, and the word quarter starts with Q. So there you go. That's why I do it that way. So here it is. And then what happens is when you're playing quarter, 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 and they're all rests, you're still counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I like to do is I like to put parentheses around the note when it's an important count, but you don't play anything. So here we go. Look at this rest. There's the line, and there's the little hat coming off. So this is a half rest and a half rest. So a half rest and a half rest. And if you notice, it's 2 beats plus 2 beats, which equals 4. And every measure in 4 has to have 4 total beats. And if you look over here, quarter is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That equals 4 total. The distance between 2 bar lines is a measure. The distance between 2 bar lines is a measure. In this measure, we're not going to make any sound, and we're going to count 2 half rest. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So you go 1 dash 2. That starts on 1. But remember, you need 3 and 4. You wouldn't put 1, 2, 1, 2 because you have to have a total number of 4 beats in each measure. But notice, it's going to rest for 2. It's going to rest for 2. So we're still labeling it like a half note, but we're putting parentheses around it to show that there's no sound being made. Finally, you have a whole rest in this last example, and a whole note equals 4 total beats, right? So you know it's all 4 beats because you go up here, you look, oh, there it is, it's 4. All right. Now, I don't like the image of this because it almost looks like the rest starts here, but the idea is you're resting for all 4 beats. So it's 1 dash 2 dash 3 dash 4 because you're sustaining the thought of the rest for 4, and you put parentheses around it, and that's how you would know you're not playing for 4 beats. Now notice how this one, I would put the rest. You'll see it like this, but for our purposes in class, it's better if you do it kind of where you put the rest or whatever figure you're looking at right above the count, or put the count right below the image. So look, now you have a whole rest, right? And you know that it starts on beat 1, and then it goes through. So you can either do here or there. Not that big a deal, but this one shows you that it's lined up a little bit better. All right, now let's go down to the questions here. Practice counting the following exercise aloud while tapping your foot evenly and steadily. Remember the dashes between the R's so you can see the sustained rest. So here you go. Ready? It's going to sound like this. Ready, set, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice if you're just using the R's, you may get lost. So let's do this technique I showed you earlier. Put the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in place, and now you know you're not playing for any of the counts in that measure. And when you get back to this number 1, you can see it's a half note. We would play on the number 1. We would hit there, hold through 2. And then we would rest on 3 and continue that rest through 4. See what we did? Even over here at the beginning, you hit on 1, you hold all the way through. You rest on all 4. You hit on 1, you hold through 2. You rest on 3, you continue your rest through 4. Matter of fact, it continues the rest on to the 1 in the next measure. Then you play on 2, you rest on 3, and you play on 4. So now, check that one out again. Ready, set, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, caught me off guard there, right? So we'll start right here. I forgot the rest. Start right here. Ready, set, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try it again. Ready, set, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that was a pretty good one. Let's go down here. Write the beats under each note and rest in the following exercise. So there it is. So if it's a 4-4, this is a half note. The first note we see in this example is a half note. So we know the half note. Let's put our little cheat sheet right here. The whole rest or the whole note equals 4 beats. The half rest or the half note equals 2. And the quarter rest or quarter note equals 1 beat in value. It has a value of 1 beat. Excuse me. So we're going to write the beats under each note and rest in the following exercise. We know that there's 4 beats in each measure. There's 4 quarter notes in each measure. So we want to find out where they are. Well, here's a half note. So we know it starts on 1. It goes through 2. This is a quarter rest, and it is on beat 3, but we want to put parentheses around beat 3 so we know we don't play. This is the quarter note on beat 4. The bar line resets the count to 1. This is a quarter note, so it gets 1 count, so it will get the first count. This is a quarter rest. Its value is 1 beat, so it would be just the second beat. This is a quarter rest. Its value is 1 beat, but it would be the third beat of the measure. And this is the quarter note. Its value is 1 beat on the fourth beat of the measure. The bar line resets it back to 1. This is a half rest. Its value is 2 beats. Starts on 1, goes through 2. But it's a rest, so we put parentheses around it. This is a quarter note. Its value is 1 beat, which is actually the third beat. And this is a quarter rest. Its value is 1 beat, which is actually the fourth beat. The bar line resets the count back to 1. This is a quarter rest, and its value is 1 beat, the first beat of the measure, but we're resting. This is a quarter note. Its value is 1 beat, the second beat in the measure. This is a quarter note. Its value is 1 beat, the third beat in the measure. And this is a quarter rest. Its value is 1 beat, the fourth beat in the measure. So then we go back and say, well, where do we clap or where do we play? Well, we clap on 1, last through 2. Rest on 3, play on 4. Play on 1, rest on 2, rest on 3, play on 4. Rest on 1 and 2, play on 3, rest on 4. Rest on 1, play on 2, play on 3, rest on 4. Let's try it. Ready? Ready, set, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it on that. So, good job. If you were following along with that and you make your paper look like this, excellent. Okay? Remember, we're talking about whole notes or whole rests equaling 4, half rests or half notes equaling 2 beats, quarter rests or quarter notes equaling 1. So now the question number 3. How many rests equal a whole rest? So, okay, how many half rests? How many half rests equal a whole rest? Well, a half note equals 2. A whole note equals 4. We know the total has to be 4, right? So if a half rest is 2, then you'll need another half rest to equal 4. So the answer is half note plus half note equals 4, or half rest. Oop, drew the wrong one. I look like a top hat, right? So a half rest plus a half rest equals a whole rest. So these are the rest images. These are the note images. But the values are the same, so the answer is 2. How many quarter rests equal a whole rest? Well, we want to know how many quarter rests equal a whole rest. If the quarter rest equals 4, then we would do 1 and a quarter note receives 1 beat. Each quarter note receives 1 beat, and you can only add up 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, because it would be quarter plus quarter plus quarter plus quarter. 4 quarters equals, 4. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4, which gives you the same value as a whole rest. So a quarter rest plus a quarter rest plus a quarter rest plus a quarter rest equals 4. And we know each measure has to have 4 beats. So there it is. And if you wanted to do it in notes, you could do a whole note equals quarter plus quarter plus quarter plus quarter. So how many quarter rests equal a whole rest? 4. How many quarter rests equal a half rest? So now the number we're trying to do is, we know a half rest equals 2. So we want to know what plus what equals 2. How many quarter rests? Well, a quarter plus a quarter, because 1 plus 1 equals 2. That process might be a little bit weird right there to see here. If we know the number is 2, we have to add up 2. Here we go. If we know the number is 2, and we know we're using quarter rests, and we know a half rest equals 2, and we know a quarter rest equals 1, how many instances of a quarter rest do you need to add up to 2 beats? There it is. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. Quarter plus quarter rest plus quarter rest equals 2, or quarter note plus quarter note equals a half note. In this case, let's get rid of this 2 so it looks the right way. It equals a half rest. Quarter rest plus quarter rest equals half rest. So here it is in notes, here it is in rest, the main part of our lesson, and here it is in beat counts, right? Kind of like we did up here, over here. Similar to what we did over here. I just didn't put the value or the total on the left side. All right, so the answer is 2. And memorize. A whole rest equals a whole note. A half rest equals a half note. A quarter rest equals a quarter note. In terms of its value, right? The rest values. How much is something worth in music? And that should be plenty for today. So thanks, everybody. See you soon.